Birmingham is one of the most diverse places to build businesses in the UK, and black businesses constitute a major part of that diverse business landscape. I've got two guests on the show today who are going to be talking about the upcoming Birmingham Black Business Show. Welcome, Keith, and welcome, Cam.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Davies.
Yeah, you're welcome on the show. So, to our audience, Keith is the founder and CEO of the Legacy Center for Excellence, and Cam is the founder CEO of Nyla's Naturals. I'm going to get you both to talk a bit about your business and your organization, and then we're going to get into the conversation around Birmingham Black Business Show. So we're going to start with you, Kameese.
Okay.
Talk to us about Nyla's Naturals.
So Nyla's Naturals was inspired by my daughter, also called Nylah. So I named the brand after her. And it's a range of high-performance textured hair care products for women with curly and textured hair types. The premise of the product is to provide solution-focused hair care using high-performance ingredients that are based on evidence in terms of their efficacy. And I think that's what sets us apart from our competitors.
And I think it's a very unique story as well. And it goes back into one of those things that we really appreciate within the black business community, which is just that sense of family and ownership and things of that nature. Yeah. Which brings me to you, Keith. Tell us about the Legacy Center for Excellence.
Well, Legacy Center of Excellence is the largest black arts and business center in the UK. And we've, developed a facility which has a variety of different spaces where you can do art, you can do business, you can have meetings, you can have concerts, and it's intergenerational. So we work with everything from small children to elders and everybody in between.
That is really great. And thank you for the good work that you do for the community as well.
Thank you.
So now let's get into the Birmingham Black Business Show. First of all, what is this show all about? Who wants to get us started?
For me, this is, I think, the third time I'll be attending the Black Business Show. I initially attended, I believe it was in 2020, which was one of the first times that they launched a show in London. And it's grown considerably since then. And it's highlighting black businesses and the ecosystem that surrounds black businesses within the UK space. As you know, black businesses are of the fastest growing business segments, but unfortunately sometimes we don't receive the exposure and the support that we need. So it's in addition to highlighting some of the talent that exists within the black business ecosystem, it's also bringing together support services that we can access, such as finance support from banks, from investors, etc., and really just showcasing black talent.
And I think that is very interesting, the fact that you've participated in the show.
Yeah.
And this time around, you're going to be one of the judges in one of the pitching competitions?
Absolutely.
What's that about? Tell us about that competition.
In partnership with Lloyds Bank, who are at the forefront of championing and supporting black businesses in the UK, they have designed a launch pad which provides a collection of support, so to speak, for a chosen black business. So 4 businesses that have been selected will pitch on stage to a panel of judges, and then one of those businesses will be selected to receive a plethora of support from strategic leaders in Lloyds Bank.
Fantastic. Yeah. And you are going to be one of the judges.
I am one of the judges. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Yeah. I look forward to that as well. And it's quite interesting that you talked about the reason for this show being to bring together, a network of support and partners that are looking at, supporting black businesses.
Yeah.
Now, Keith, that's something that you know everything about in terms of galvanizing the ecosystem to support black businesses, because I know that is what Legacy Center does when you look at it with certain lenses. Yeah. Talk to us about the importance of shows like this for black businesses.
I think basically it's about bringing all together all these separate parts and all the people who are working sometimes in silos together. And I think that we're stronger when we move together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think sometimes the black business landscape is quite fragmented. And it's if you're an entrepreneur, it's difficult to know how you access support, where you get that support from. Are you speaking to the right people? How do I meet people who come from the same background as me, who've been through the same challenges as me, and access that support and get that kind of mentorship and things like that. So I think it's about bringing all of these different working parts together to work together. And also sometimes I think one of the key things is you can believe that you're the only person that's going through these challenges, that's ever gone through these challenges, until you meet other people who've walked in, they've walked in your footsteps before you, and they can share knowledge which is intrinsic to something that they've experienced and how to improve your situation as a business. And I think it's easier to do that when it's somebody that you can ideally identify with a little bit easier. So I think it's important if we're talking about building an infrastructure, and I think it's important that we do build a black business infrastructure across the UK. I think shows like this are very important towards developing that.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree more. And there's one of the things that you touched on when you were providing that response that I think strikes a chord, particularly when you talk about the necessity for black businesses to reach out so that they can learn from those that have gone before, and even other people that are building businesses at the same time as they are building businesses. So Cam, from your experience, talk to us about what that has been like. What is the importance of having, sidelines, like I'd like to say, or uplines? Those are people that have gone before, gone to the places you want to go, done the things you want to do, and also people that are building just at the same time that you're building. What does that do? Because in the black community, I mean, a lot of times we think about the black community and the word community always pops up. Tell us about the importance of that.
So, being an entrepreneur, as Keith mentioned earlier, it can be a very lonely and isolating journey. And having to navigate the many facets of building a business can be quite challenging, because not only are you having to generate sales, run services, generate revenue, etc., you also have to take into consideration the multifaceted components that make a business, like finance, marketing, customer services, community development. And you can get lost in that process. Having something like the business show, the Black Business Show, enables you to network with key providers who understand the challenges that you might be experiencing. So for example, we have Dr. Trupal, who will be talking about the importance of branding and marketing. Now that's an amazing talk to go and listen to have an understanding how you can position yourself as an individual and raise the profile of your brand. Having speakers like Justice Williams, who are going to be there, Rebecca Tate, that's going to be there. There's a lot of information and knowledge that you can ascertain just by being in the environment and the room with other people who are business leaders in their own right. So it creates a community, but it also creates a system and an ecosystem of mutual support. And I think that's really important, because, when you start to, progress in your business journey, you really do learn that your network is your net worth.
Absolutely.
And having those introductions and those, the relationships is what's going to get your business to the next level. Absolutely. And it provides that hub for you to network with other business leaders, other founders, and really progress and move yourself forward. So I definitely recommend for any black business, if they can attend, they should definitely do so.
I definitely would echo those sentiments.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, Keith agrees as well. What have you got to say with regards to that community?
I think knowledge is the foundation. I think it's very important. Even now, I've been in business for a long time, and every day I'm actively trying to learn about how can I improve what I do and make it better. Every day. The minute you stand still, that's when your business will start dying.
Yeah.
Right? So I would encourage all businesses to try and learn, meet people, network with people. Even if you can gain some information that helps improve your business by 0.1%, that's more than what you had before you had that knowledge. And I think that I also think it's important sometimes, not even sometimes, just important period, to speak to people who've done things what you want to do, right, and have been successful in that field. Because I can read a textbook, right, and I can read some information, that's great. But what the textbook sometimes doesn't tell you is about the words that weren't written on the page, the experiences, what it's actually like practically doing something, which is quite different sometimes from the theoretical.
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
practical can be quite different.
Absolutely.
And so it's important that you can learn that real experience from people,
Directly from people that
Directly,
you're interacting and interfacing
from mouth
with.
to ear. Like, how
Absolutely.
did you do this? Why did you do this? What challenges did you face? How long did it take you? How did you improve your business? How did you integrate new systems? How did you deal with
Absolutely.
new laws and processes and taxes? And because there's a lot that, you know, you step into this life as an entrepreneur and you think it's about, oh, my business, I'm going to do all the exciting things.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to master the
The non-exciting things.
Yeah, the non-exciting
The way I like
things.
to say it is, it's not enough to do what you love. You must do what you must, because there's certain things about
Exactly.
business that you just don't like, but you've got to do them.
You've got to do it.
And I think that what you're saying is really important, because when you think about it from the standpoint of the fact that sometimes you read, but it's general level information. But when you get to interact directly with the people that have been there, done that, you get to ask questions that are contextualized
Yes.
to your own circumstance.
Yes.
And you can literally get expert advice and insight and direction, you know, that would really help your business move forward. So I think that it is really, really good, the things that you've touched on and talked about. But I want to come back very quickly to something that both of you alluded to. This need for support in light of the challenges. Are we talking general business challenges here, or are there challenges that are peculiar to the Black business community?
You know how I feel about this question. You know, I think every business is going to face challenges. Business growth is never linear. You know, it's never a nice, steady trajectory to the promised land. It's always kind of up and
Ups and
down.
downs.
But for Black businesses in particular, we have additional challenges that we have to overcome and navigate. You know, not having access to finance at an equal footing as other businesses and other entrepreneurs is one of the many challenges that we have to face, because in addition to growing your business, you have to also figure out, you know, how you're going to get the money and get very creative in the way that you're generating revenue for your business and you're bootstrapping your business. That's something that I've had to do. Another one of the challenges, particularly for Black businesses, is, you know, depending on who your demographic and your target market is, it's accessing that target market, because the traditional ways of marketing don't necessarily work in the same way. So you have to also find a marketing team that is able to communicate in the language that your audience is familiar with. And sometimes that can be a challenge as well. So I think going to the Black Business Show, like Keith says, it gives you access to that specialist information and that knowledge to help you overcome some of the unique challenges that you will face as you go through your business journey. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that definitely answers the question. And I'd like you to weigh in a bit on that as well, Keith, because I know that with the work that you've done at Legacy, you've worked extensively with lots of different Black businesses. What are some of those peculiar challenges that you've come across in your time?
Well, I think that you're talking about a community that, to a certain extent, within Britain has always been marginalised. So marginalisation of any kind means you're going to have to take steps to improve on those areas which are affected by the marginalisation even more. So, for example, in many communities that I work in, a lot of my friends, you know, they learned accounting and whatever through their family. They learn about property development through their family. So if you're coming from a community which doesn't really have a lot of professionals, or I'm not saying now, we're improving, things are changing and improving vastly now. But I think that there's been a history of disenfranchisement, which means that there's additional work that needs to be done for us really to bring our businesses up to the level where we need them to be. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So there's areas that we need to work on more. There's areas where we need to support each other more, just simply because of the history. So I think it's really important, you know, Cam really broke it down really well in terms of these are specific factors that affect us and our community and the businesses within our community. So we need to address those areas. And the only way we can do it really is by bringing the collective together to ask some of those difficult questions And some of it is about us challenging each other to say, hold on a second, we need to do X, Y, and Z. The people are in the room to do X, Y, and Z. Let's do X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that we develop this infrastructure, and we're beginning to see that paying off over the last, I've said in the last 5 years. I've seen things changing where, because of the development of the black business infrastructure in the UK, we're getting more people now into key positions within organizations, and they bring with them to those organizations knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and a familiarity with the issues which affect us specifically.
Absolutely.
Which means we can address those problems, because before it was always a little bit taboo. People didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to talk about disenfranchisement because it's like, oh, it's a bit scary for some corporate organizations. But because of the Black Business Show and events like this, and the fact that we're building the infrastructure, people are, I'd say, taking it better.
Yep.
In the way that we address some of these critical questions.
Better education across the business community, I guess.
We're educating the black business community, we're educating the wider business community, and we're educating them to see why we actually need specific help, which is tailored to what we need and our needs. Whereas I think before, I don't think they understood that. I think they thought, well, there's a difference between equality and equity. You can say we're going to give everybody a half glass of water, but what if I haven't eaten? What if I haven't drank or eaten anything for 2 weeks? You're going to give me the same glass of water as well that someone had a glass of water this morning. There's a difference between equality and equity.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important that we build the infrastructure, and this is part of it. The Black Business Show, the conferences, the meetings, the work that Cam and others are doing to build the infrastructure is building that equity.
And I think that is very important, particularly in relation to what you just talked about in terms of educating not just the black business community, but also the wider business community. Because for some people that are watching the show today, they might be thinking, oh, it's a black business show. It's one of those things for black people to attend. Now, why should somebody that do not, say, count themselves to be a part of the black business community bother to attend this? Why is it important that they participate?
In my opinion?
Yep.
I think it's important for everybody to attend. I think that if we're talking about equity, we need people from the wider community to support black businesses and not kind of look at it as though to say, well, it's just a black thing, so I don't really want to go.
Yep.
It's for everybody to attend. Yes, it's for black businesses to attend, to improve their business and learn how to improve their business, but it's also for the wider community to attend to see, hold on a second, there's people actually doing stuff that I didn't think they would actually do.
Absolutely.
And it's also about people from organizations who work with businesses to attend, to actually connect with some of these businesses that they really should be working with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel it's important that we keep shouting about the fact, because I think some people have got an idea of black businesses which really belongs 30 years in the past. People are professionals. They're doing great things.
Absolutely.
Innovative,
Absolutely.
using innovation, using technology to build great businesses. Cam's got a fantastic business with a fantastic range of products.
Absolutely.
World class. I can walk into any room and I feel confident shouting about her business because I know it's a great business, right? What we now need is for the whole of the UK business community to start shouting about the businesses that we have in our community and recognizing the value that we have to add.
And I think that is a very, very well stated point, Keith, because, sometimes when we think about these issues, we might think, oh, it's an issue that we need to just keep to ourselves or keep within the black community. But the point that you made around the wider community participated is so very important, because sometimes it's even them learning how to sell into the black community, how to build partnerships, how to build collaborative efforts that could expand market. And it's vice versa as well. And Cam, I'll let you talk a bit about this, because even when we think about black businesses, we're not thinking about, I'm just going to build a business and sell to my community.
Yeah.
We're selling globally.
Yes.
We're selling to people of all races or, spiritual inclinations, and from people from all over the world. So talk to me about that importance of having people from the general business community participating in conversations like this and in conferences like this.
Well, So one of the things that I like to say about the perception of black businesses is that it's not that we're underrepresented because there's a lot of us, it's that we're underestimated. And that's the problem. And I think the Black Business Show allows us to have the opportunity to present the professionalism, as Keith said, and the excellence that is within our community. You know, we're not only building businesses that are local, we're building businesses that are national and international. Now, for my business in particular, we are looking at internationalization at the moment and how we can tap into other markets. I don't just sell to black women, I also sell to a plethora of women from the community, including white and Asian women. So having the opportunity to showcase and shout about my business to key individuals that can help me to realize the full potential of the brand is really important. And that includes, you know, not only investors, but retailers, buyers, you know, people that can support with distribution. That's really important. So having that infrastructure and, you know, dare I use the word allyship in the black community is really important so that we can showcase and reach our full potential in business.
Fantastic. I think that that is very, very important. These are very important conversations to be had, and it is a very good melting pot that brings together all the key players to create the business linkages and opportunities that we need to actually make sure that businesses from the black community and even businesses in the wider community collaborate in ways that just elevate every single person. I think it's going to be a remarkable show. I'm looking forward to it. Incidentally, I'm going to be speaking on one of the panels as well. So it's going to be really, really good. But I want to touch on the importance, and as we begin to wrap up, but I want to touch on the importance of shows like this in promoting what is happening in terms of businesses in the black community, because, you know, like some of the things that Keith has referenced, people develop businesses from all sort of backgrounds. They probably are not as confident or not as bold. And I know that at Black Business Show, there's going to be exhibitions. And I think Legacy is putting some of that together as well. But what is the importance? And I'll have Keith talk about this from the standpoint of, you know, organizations facilitating this. And Cam, you're a business owner yourself. I'd like to talk about this from the standpoint of a business owner. What is the importance of platforms like this for publicity? For publicity for businesses?
I think that we need people to really understand the importance of marketing and getting out there. One of the things, I mean, you've took part in some of our sessions at Legacy, and one of the things I say to businesses is, you can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it,
absolutely,
it's just an unknown business that, you know, you've got this great thing, but you've got to shout about it.
Absolutely.
You've got to let people know about it. And I do worry sometimes that people, yes, you've got to get your product right and your product's got to be right. But at what point are you going to then start shouting about your business, networking with people, building links, connecting with distributors, connecting with other people who can help your business grow? And I think it's important. Events like this are very important because it's really a showcase.
Absolutely.
You can learn and you can showcase your business. And look, if you get a chance to sit down with, maybe you've got your product and maybe 5,000, 10,000 people view your product, how often are you going to get a chance to do that?
Yeah.
How often are you going to actually be able to make people touch, feel, use your product? You can explain what you do. You can give them some information. They go away to, you know, remember, it's a show that gets people from all over the country. So they go back to Bristol or Brighton or Nottingham or wherever they come from. And next thing you know, you're getting orders on your website. Actually, I came to the Black Business Show.
Absolutely. And
I bought some of your products, and can I get a box?
And that's how the channels of expansion open up. Yeah. That's literally how it opened up.
I mean, back in the day in the music industry, when I was in the music industry, they used to have events where you might go to, there used to be a conference in France called Midem. And I remember literally bringing some records over, samples of records, I had about 50, because records in those days, vinyl's quite heavy. Yeah. And I gave some samples out. And I remember some of the big orders that we got from France was literally, I've given somebody a sample. and they've said, right, I really like this product.
And I want to get it.
Can I get 300? Can I get 5? Can I get 1,000?
And that is the spirit. That is how to get the word out there. And Cam, I'd like you to weigh on this really quickly from the perspective of the entrepreneur running the business. Why is it important to be at places like this?
Because you never know who's in the room.
Yes.
First of all, you never know who is in the room. And if you don't put your business in the right places, your business is going to find a hard time growing. It's not going to accelerate at the pace that it could do. You know, being in the room, having the conversations, meeting people, it might be that somebody can connect you with someone else.
Absolutely.
Because I believe that there's only, 3 or 7 degrees of separation? Which one is it?
7 degrees.
7
Six.
degrees.
Six.
6
degrees
yeah,
of
it's
separation.
debatable. But the degrees of separation isn't that much. And you don't know, having a conversation with someone who's literally sitting next to you and having a talk to you can lead you to one of the biggest opportunities in your business.
Facts.
You know, last year when I attended the Black Business Show, I had Mahalia's mom, the singer Mahalia. Her mom came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I love you. I'm Mahalia's mom. I would love her to try the products. Here's my telephone number." You know, so you never know what opportunity can materialize by you going to business shows like this. So I definitely recommend it, not only for the opportunity to network, but the opportunity to learn.
Absolutely.
It provides a platform for you to access information from keynote speakers, which are, you know, leaders in their field, and having the opportunity to have such a broad spectrum of information that you need to push your business forward is, again, one of the reasons why you should attend. It doesn't happen
Absolutely.
often.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better. So definitely, if you're out there and you run a business, you should participate in this. Go, attend, listen, exhibit, collaborate, meet people, and make sure that you're engaging, not just with the show, but with every single participant that you come across. Now, before we go, there's something I'd like both of you to touch on, and then we'll call it a day for this part of this show today. Now, I got to know you, Keith, and I got to know you, Cam, first and foremost, not because you were black, but because of the excellence of the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I want you to speak to the community about the importance of always leading with quality and leading with excellence, because I think that sometimes when we talk about black businesses and things of that nature, it might come across as, you know, a racial undertone that we're very, very, you know, keen and, you know, overprotective about. But what I've seen is a lot of great work gets to happen, but we don't get to talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And also on the flip side of that, you know, you have a lot of people that are leading with narratives and not with excellence. What is the importance of that in business?
For me, my mantra is I have to start acting like an excellent CEO before I get paid like one. So every step of the way, I'm like, how can I be excellent? How can I excel? How can I do great things? Because your reputation precedes you.
Absolutely.
Your reputation precedes your brand. So you have to put yourself in the position to acquire the information and demonstrate that skill and capacity and excellence so that you can then carry your business with you in the right way and in the you know, the trajectory that you'd like it to go. So that's what I would say in terms of answering your question. It's really important to present yourself in the best possible manner, in the best possible way, in order for you then to establish the reputation, as a credible CEO and business leader.
Couldn't agree more. Keith?
I agree. I think Cam broke it down very well. I believe in quality. And I came up in an era where if you didn't do something properly, don't do it at all. That was the message I heard in my house. Either you do it properly or don't do it. I'd rather you don't do it than you half do it. And so I believe in always trying to be the best. And even if you can't, even if you're not the best at the time, try to be the best.
Absolutely.
So aim for 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you aim for 10 out of 10, and if you don't reach 10 out of 10, if you get 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, it's good. But if you aim for 7 out of 10, you're probably going to get 3. In my kind of psychology, the way I think.
Yeah.
So everything I do and everything that we try and do as an organization, we always try and tell people, do the best that you can, right?
Awesome.
And I think that for black businesses, I think it's key. Whatever you do, be the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're going to build up, you know, if you've got a product, look at what other products out there, right? Could your product sit next to that product in the shelf and look the same? If I taste your food, how does your food taste compared to the
Compare.
best? If I drive in your car that you've built, right, and then I hop in an Audi, how do I feel?
What's the experience?
If I jump in an Audi, and then I jump in your car, I'm not trying to promote any car brands at the moment, sorry, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to sit alongside the best in the world at
Yeah.
what other people do, and you're supposed to be able to compete.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree because, you know, ultimately the customers have a choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if you're not excellent enough, they're going to go to where they can find excellence. But
100%.
thank you so
Can
much
I
for
just
coming
add
on the
to
show
that?
today. Yeah, I'm going to have you add to that. And maybe you could also talk about when the Birmingham Black Business Show is going to be, dates and where and things of
Sure.
that nature.
So just to add to the point of excellence, I think, yeah, striving for excellence is really important, but also have compassion on yourself as well and understand that sometimes even when you shoot for the moon, we don't hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
You know, there are going to be failures along the way, but the important point of experiencing a failure is learning from it.
Absolutely.
You know, how can I learn from that failure to ensure that I don't make it again in the future, or to ensure that I put myself in the right position to do better next time?
Definitely.
So that's one thing I would say has definitely helped me along my entrepreneurial journey. I've failed. You know, there's been times where things haven't materialized the way I want them to, but I've
Absolutely.
always learned that lesson,
It
and
is
that's really
learning.
important.
It is a learning process.
So the Black Business Show is on the 17th of June
17th of June.
at the NEC, also known as NEC. Davies said earlier
It's going to be
today.
at the NEC in Birmingham.
in Birmingham.
I am going to be there. Keith is going to be there. Cam is going to be there. Make sure that you are there as well. Thank you very much, Keith, for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
Cam for
Davies.
coming on the show.
Thank you, Cam.
to everyone who's tuned in. But we're not done yet. We've still got a whole lot more to come on the show today. Stay tuned.